So anyway, what that switch does is going to shut off the electricity in that room there, which means we can walk in and get what's in the safe, but only for a limited time. Eventually it will flip back over again, which does take a little while, luckily. Fear the brokenness of the telekinesis. I just didn't even want to bother messing with that camera, so I just blew it up in the last part. But we're going to go ahead and hack this and get what's in it. I'm not really too concerned about looting in general in this last part of the game, because like I pretty much have everything I'll ever need to take on the final boss. And it's like the only resources I need are just enough stuff to get me through the level, and enough to kill the final big daddies that are carrying the final little sisters, and there's only like 2 or 3 left, so it's not really that much of a big deal. We're gonna get plenty of resources before we go into the final, I guess final level. This is sort of the second to last level, really. But the last level is mainly just one event, but I think you can figure that out. Anyway, over here, ever crucially, is the very last powered people station. Yay! So we now have the chemical thrower range, and I have met my end of the obligation by getting all of them in the game, as I said I would. The thing is, there are exactly as many power to the people stations in this game as there are weapon upgrades you can get. In Bioshock 2, on the other hand, each weapon has a 3rd upgrade that you can get after you've gotten the first 2, which adds an additional effect to it. But that means that there are not exactly as many power to people stations in the game as there are upgrades, which means there are a few upgrades you will have to deliberately avoid getting, and you'll choose not to have. So it's like, that's kind of lame, but I'll go into more detail about that when we actually get around to doing Bioshock 2. I've been wanting to do Bioshock 2 for about a year now, really, but like, I was actually tempted to do it right around the time I did Rage, but I figured Rage was more topical at the time, and that's kind of why I'm excited about doing Fall of Cybertron, is that's, you know, more topical at the time now as well. But I probably should do Bioshock 2 first, because there's surprisingly a lot of depth to Fall of Cybertron that I didn't realize. So there's a new tonic in here, Alarm Expert 2, which we're going to go ahead and place over the first one. And here we get to modify our... Yeah, that's kind of disturbing. So now our voice is super deep and we sound like a whale for some reason.
What you wait for? Engraved invitation.
So yeah, the next things we have to get are the bodysuit, and we have to administer some pheromones, which are going to allow the, as Fontaine indicated while he was still Atlas earlier in the game, was, by the way, yeah, that's a fixed ambush there, and I just wanted to avoid it. So anyway, we just Sonic Boom the crap out of those guys, and honestly, I don't think there's a Sonic Boom 3. I think it just maxes out at 2 just because it's already so powerful. But over here is where we're going to find the pheromones. God, I'm getting lazy about hacking those cameras. I don't even care anymore. I just want to get through this level. But you have to get 3 of the pheromone administrations, but there are more than 3 of them in the level. So you can find several of them that are just lying around afterwards and pick them up anyway, even though they're not important anymore. Yeah, I don't even care about that alarm I set off anymore. I guess this place has plot relevance, being that it's one of the many locations throughout the series that you encounter where Big Daddies and Little Sisters are created. Clearly. Yeah, that audio diary was before Tenenbaum interrupted her own audio diary. Here we go, I'll play it again for you. She makes a very good point when she's asking why all the Little Sisters have to be girls. Because why can't they be little boys? I mean, sure enough, they have to be children, that makes sense, but why just girls? And I like that about it, because it addresses something that could have easily become a plot hole and stuff like that. This game is smart like that.
I'm gonna go over to Mother Goose's house, and I'm gonna take it apart, piece by piece, and brat by brat.
We get it, Fontaine. You're the villain. Shut up. Anyway, this is another area where you'll find a Big Daddy already spawned. So I might try to take him down before I leave, after I get all 3 of the pheromone treatments. Yeah, some of these rooms you can't get into because the door is already locked or it's like electrically broken or whatever. So we have to go back up here and just hop over the guardrail. I guess these are obviously the rooms where the Little Sisters were kept, and it looks like they have a regular old door control, just they had to put them high enough to where they couldn't reach them, but we can because we're an adult.
But there's only one piece missing. The bodysuit. Go to fail-safe armor.
I'll tell you what, yeah, I'll go ahead and go after this. Well, I was thinking about going after that Big Daddy in there. There's one more room over here. This one has yet another pheromone thing in it, but I really don't need it. There's something else in here, though. We have destroyed the textures on that camera. We find Safecracker 2, which I wanted to use Safecracker 1, but never really got around to it. So this one is actually pretty good, though, but there's not that many safes left in the game, so I figure I don't really need it that badly. I really need to buy some more first aid kits, though. And right as I say that, I encounter power to people station. I'm just gonna buy them. I don't care that I'm not gonna hack it. I have plenty of monies. Alrighty, I guess we should take this guy down. So let's go ahead and, again, if you're in a dark room and you're watching this at night, go ahead and turn around and look at your back wall and enjoy the light show. Especially if you're watching this in full screen. Warning, if you have a history of epilepsy, you may not want to play this game. Back in the day when that first started happening, I was like, that's crazy, this game is so trippy it'll cause people to have seizures, and then it's like every mod... What the hell, seriously? This game does not like me today. It's like every modern game has that seizure warning now, and it's like, well, can't be too careful, I suppose. It's like, I love how when they really emphasize it, though, like, in Vanquish, it's like, oh, this game is extremely trippy. Anyway, we are pretty much done in this section of the level. We can go ahead and leave now. Which is good, because it's a rather boring and depressing place. I'm pretty sure we could have entered this room through this room right here. And these turrets would have been in the way, but I suppose that's the safer way of taking them on, but we could have like crawled in through the window, I think, back when we first entered the level. That's usually how I get in here. I just decided not to do it this time because I know this game well enough now, and I wanted to pick up the boots right away. Instead of going to where the game tells you they are. Oh, there's that camera again. Yeah, just buy it out. Random enemies spawning in my way. Damn it. Frickin' liquid nitrogen. Okay.
After Ryan takes this place, here is where they
Now we gotta go after the bodysuit, which I think is the last thing they have to get now.
find the pieces of the suit. Guide them.
Luckily there's an absurd amount of elite security bots in here we can hack. They're all just lying around waiting for us to use them. We can't have more than 3 of them at a time though, because that would just be ridiculous to have all those things following us around. And we'll probably just like overload the game.
What's there?
Let's see, there's the bodysuits right there. We can pick any one of our choosing. Thank you.
This is where you find.
Oh, there's one more thing we need to get, but I'm deliberately saving this one for last because it makes the, especially if you're playing on the more recent patches of the PC version, it makes this last part of this level really miserable because it obscures half your screen. It's not that bad in this version or on the PS3 version, which is what we're actually LPing, so it doesn't really matter. So,
now is helmet.
but it's the helmet, and the helmet, like I said, will obscure your vision. Now, it says in the lore and everything that people that become a Big Daddy, it's an irreversible process. Like, this stuff is like grafted onto their flesh and everything, and they can't take the suit off no matter what. But apparently it's true that with our protagonist here, he hasn't made the change totally permanent. It's just sort of a temporary thing just to get the little sisters to let him into Fontaine's hideout in the Proving Grounds. So he can take the suit off. As he apparently does. Interesting little area over here. I guess this audio diary talks about where the boots would have been, because I guess this is where they would have been, but it's where they're not right now. I still want to go over here because there's some loot and stuff we need to get, and just to demonstrate the entirety of this level. But like I said, if we came here first and then had to backtrack all the way over to where the boots actually are, that would have been really lame. There's a ton of electro bolts over here. Oh, that's nice. Stupid sentry bot. Oh, the stupid shenanigans that come of those things. Anyway, I think we are done here. Now we need to go find the helmet. We're already making a colossal racket walking around with our boots and everything, but there hasn't been that noticeable of a change from any of the other additions we've made. I mean, the noise we make when we take damage is definitely deepened a bit from the voice box changer, but it's very subtle. It's not like loud in your face. I have no idea what the purpose of this room is, but it looks really cool. And we get some extra Fontaine dialogue here, which is always nice. God, he's so awesome. Okay, so now for the final room. There's a Big Daddy in here who already has a little sister, and there's the helmet. So let's go ahead and put that on, and we look just like him.
Yes. Now
It's almost like he can't tell the difference.
Are you ready?
But anyway, now we have to kill the last remaining Big Daddies and harvest the last remaining little sisters, and then we will be done, and we can move on to the final level. So let's get to work on that, shall we? As you can see, the helmet does slightly obscure your vision, but it's not nearly as bad in this version as it is in some of the more recent PC versions. Because obviously, like most good PC FPS games, you can change your field of view, which I think you can do in Bioshock. I'm not sure. Again, I haven't played the PC version. I played the demo for the Mac version, which you couldn't. But I've seen recent LPs of that version, and it just seems like it heavily hindered the guy's opinion of the game. Like, he thought that pretty much killed this last half of the game, or last level of the game, really. Don't worry, Bioshock 2 does not look like this. You are not constantly obscured with your vision in Bioshock 2 because you are half Big Daddy. Well, you're entirely Big Daddy in Bioshock 2, so why would it bother doing that? Honestly, it's more atmospheric without it. So anyway, let's go ahead and max out my my character here by getting all of the upgrades I could ever want. Let's get Human Inferno 2 going on here. No, let's get Medical Expert 3. Yeah. And we still have a ton of Adam. And look at how much health we have now. It's ridiculous. Oop, 2 first aid kits. But yeah, Bioshock 2 is still just as atmospheric as this game, even without the whole helmet perspective thing. I think the helmet perspective kind of kills the atmosphere, actually. So right downstairs here is where the entrance to the Proving Grounds is. It doesn't show it on my map because I have to change the floor, but let's see, I think I'm looking for a gene bank here. You, sir, can go die in a hole. Okay, where is it? Oh, there we go. You invent. I want to stock up on all my alternate ammo types before we go into the final level there. Let's get rid of trap bolts, a bunch of electric gels, exploding bug, anti-personnel pistol rounds, all the good stuff. And heat-seeking RPGs. We probably won't even be able to hold as much of this stuff as I've been willing to craft right now. Yep. We really can't hold that many heat-seeking RPGs, and it's really a shame. But we should be all set and ready to go now. We definitely have plenty of alternate... I went ahead and just spent all of my accumulated resources for crafting to make as much ammo as I could. And we'll be doing that again before we take on the final boss, so... we're going to just be going all out in the final level. Like, we're going to be using all of our best stuff constantly. Seriously, guys, just leave me alone for a change. I just want to go to the final level. Die. The wall is your enemy at this point. So let's go ahead and whack the vent with our wrench and acquire us a little girl. Now, if you want to, if you're going for the good ending, there's also another variable that will happen in this next part, involving the survival of these little sisters. As you can see, they have a health bar up there, but more on that in the next part.